Because we work with a number of vendors that provide the same service, we have a bit of a context on vendor A versus vendor B. So from the beginning, just based on feedback we've received from other clients, we can evaluate a little bit about the choice between vendor A and vendor B. But once the vendor is chosen, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're fully utilizing the software or their services. So a part of what we can help banks with is utilizing the software to its fullest extent. What we found is that quite often banks will pay for banking software, and parts of it will be implemented and other parts will just lay unused for a period of time. And part of that is that there have been often manual processes in the past that the staff has gotten accustomed to working in a manual process, and so they are a bit scared, a bit hesitant about implementing a technology-based process. And so some of the manual processes continue even after the banks paid for the software that would mechanize those processes. So we go in and we look at what's being utilized, and then when we've discovered what is not being utilized, we'll help the bank put the change process in place to fully implement that and get the staff to utilizing that particular module or that particular aspect of the software. It takes an implementation plan, and it even takes some follow-up even afterward, just to ensure that it stays in place once it's put in place, because as is quite often the case, people will revert back to the old way of doing things unless there's a process that they become comfortable with over a period of time. That's a part of our project management process, is that we not only find the places where the efficiencies can be gained, but we also build out a strategic plan, a strategy to get them in place. And so we provide a hold your hand type service until they're comfortably in place. We gain credibility, I think, with our assistance with banks on the selection of vendors just because we are independent. Just because we don't get any kind of remuneration from the vendors when their vendor is selected. And so, the independence is what we have to depend on. We have the opportunity to work with all the major vendors and even develop relationships with some of their staff and salespersons and work with them directly. And there's a comfortableness, even though we're negotiating for our clients, there's a comfortableness with the vendors because they know who we are, they know the process that we go through, and so we're able to build a bridge, if you will, between our client and the vendor, and for the advantage of both, really.